The opinions expressed in the video you are about to see are solely those of BoatTest.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve from BoatTest.com, and today we're going to do a sea trial and full test of the Sea Ray 500 Sundancer.
Let's begin by looking at some of the operational features of the 500 Sundancer, starting with the engine access. In the center of the cockpit deck is a hatch leading you to the engine compartment. The opening for the hatch features a gutter surrounding the opening that channels all water to a drain that then leads overboard. While the compartment was a little cramped, I had no trouble accessing the daily engine checks. Both 526 horsepower Cummins Mercruiser diesels were being fed by dual Raycor filters to either side of the compartment, and a ball valve allows for isolating either filter for changes on the fly. Raw water strainers were right at the bottom of the ladder, with the engine start batteries just behind. All wire ends were neat and orderly, and all hoses double clamped with the sharp edges protected. Fully forward was the generator with its fuel filter secured to the sound shield. You can opt for a 7, 8, or 11.5 kW genset. The side decks are easily accessed via T-covered steps to port and a removable seat cushion to starboard. There's a grab handle right at the steps and another running along the side of the hardtop to safely transition you all the way to the bow. As we come forward, we get a great look at the massive windshield, and I really appreciated the electric opening vents at the bottom. At the working end of the bow, the rails come up to 32 inches, which exceeds standards. The foot controls for the operational windlass are to port. There are 2 hatches allowing access to the all-chain rode. A heavy-duty plow anchor is secured to a stainless steel anchor davit. Back inside, as we step to the helm deck, I notice a nice high overhead at 6 feet 6.5 inches and dual opening skylights. The helm on our test boat was finished in a foam marble and features twin 12-inch displays and the Mercruiser vessel view display just above. To either side were heat and AC vents, which kept me comfortable. Up above, high marks to Sea Ray for placing the analog gauges in what is normally wasted space. There was a padded thigh-high bolster. The Zeus joystick was to the right and in a comfortable position for facing aft and backing into a slip. I didn't care for the location of the engine controls, as there was nowhere to rest my hand or arm to stabilize for small corrections in a choppy sea, but others would disagree. Sea Ray reps tell me that the location is a direct response to customer feedback. Next to the controls is the Precision Pilot control module. Thanks to the high windshields, I had great visibility from both the seated and standing positions. Lastly, both the captain and the observer get individual seats with flip-up bolsters and comfortable armrests. Now, let's get underway and see how this 500 Dancer handles. Heading out the channel, I immediately noticed how well the 500 handles at low speed. The Zeus pods really gave a responsive helm. Her low bridge clearance was appreciated for transiting the intercoastal with no delays. Upon accelerating, I measured a roughly 10-degree bow rise that had no effect on my visibility to the horizon. At cruise, the responsiveness to the helm continued with only 2 turns from lock to lock at the wheel, and turning produced a 5-degree bank angle that I found to be quite comfortable. With an empty weight of 40,291 pounds, 3/4 fuel, and 4 people on board, we had a test weight of 42,791 pounds. Top speed came in at 30 RPM and 34 knots. At that speed, we were burning 59.9 gallons per hour for a range of 204 nautical miles. That full throttle speed was not far off from best cruise of 2,600 RPM, where we were running at 26.1 knots with a 41.2 gallon per hour fuel burn. Now we had a range of 228 nautical miles. We reached planing speed in 9.7 seconds and accelerated through 30 miles per hour in 18 seconds. Of course, this isn't really what I came for. We had 15 to 20 mile per hour winds blowing against an outgoing tide in a narrow inlet, producing some nice rollers both in the inlet and offshore. Perfect. As I headed out the inlet, there was no pounding at half throttle, and we were throwing water nicely off to the sides. I didn't really feel the need to go easy on the 500, as she seemed to be right at home in these conditions. Past the inlet, the sea spread out a bit more, and things got even more comfortable in 2-foot rollers. Because the 500 throws water so well, the wind would pick it up and blow it back into the windshield, so it was a wet ride, but neither the vents or the overhead sunroof leaked at all. Trimming the bow up gave us a little drier ride with a slight speed penalty. In a beam sea, the 500 was great and surprisingly comfortable. The ride was also much drier, and I was actually able to add power and really start cruising above the 18-knot speed I set for the head seas. In a following sea, the ride was even better. I raised the tabs to keep the bow up and brought us to wide open throttle. We just rode down one wave and then right up the back of the next with no tendency to stuff the bow at 30+ knots, and she also maintained a nice straight track. And of course, once back at the dock, handling was a non-event thanks to the Zeus joystick. And with that, that's our full test and performance review of the new 500 Sundancer by Sea Ray. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.